Hello, good morning. Time for business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Economist Eric Osei-Sibe says the local currency could depreciate further if the managers of the economy fail to put in place the right measures to mitigate the current risk posed to it. A UK-based research firm, the Economist Intelligence Unit, has predicted that the Ghana cedi will hit 6 cedis to a dollar by 2020 as it may suffer some external pressures. In an interview with Joy Business, Professor Osei-Sibe said a stable exchange rate is vital for economic growth.
But it's a possibility. It is a possibility if nothing is done, to mitigate the risk of the cedi depreciation. Of course, once we are under a floating exchange rate regime, it's always difficult for the central bank to hold down or to pin down the currency. What the central bank can do is to try to meet it some halfway, to not to allow it to depreciate so fast. The stability of the exchange rate is vital for any macroeconomic stability. I mean, if you want to achieve stability in macroeconomic sense, be it fiscal, be it your growth and whatever, if you don't have a stable exchange rate, it is difficult for you to have. With fiscal, if your currency depreciates, definitely it's going to affect your fiscal projections because it's going to lead to a widening fiscal deficit because your interest service will go up. It's going to increase your debt stock.
All right, in other news this morning, the Ghana Statistical Service is expected to present to Parliament a plan to allow it price food commodities in a way that is in line with the current economic trends. My colleague Eben Sabute attended a press conference addressed by Samuel Kobna, who is the Statistical Service CEO. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Fourthly, we say that it is important at the national level, this goes beyond Ghana Statistical Service, as a country for us to think about the weighing of items to inform pricing. This is a challenge with the quantity of data that is associated with prices of data that we collect from the market. If we get into the market and the market woman says that these heaps cost this amount, this is largely influenced by seasonality, perceptions, and attitude. There's no scientific approach by which the pricing is done, especially for items that are weighted. So the proposal that Ghana Statistical Service is going to put on the floor of Parliament is that as a country, we should begin to think about how we can get our market sellers to get us prices based on the weight of the item rather than based on heaps and guesswork and seasonality moving forward.
That was government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim. Now, Ghanaian tech genius Idris Sandu is advocating that government invest more in building the tech ecosystem here in Ghana. He believes it would help curb the poaching of Ghanaian tech talents by international tech firms. I spoke to him during his visit to Ghana.
It's like, this idea that, we haven't created, and this is fine because the identification of the problem is the first step to healing, but we haven't created a funnel or a system for our youth to be able to thrive out here. So the reality is, I'm here now sitting with you, but had I grown up here, would there be an Uber that I could go work at? Would there be a Snapchat that I could go, or Instagram that I could go consult for? There wouldn't, And how many artists would, for example, in the case of like a Kanye or Jaden, how many people would approach a tech person and want to do a collaboration, or what Nipsey and I created, him being a hip-hop artist, myself being a tech person, coming together? How will that happen? So I think there's this common thing of youth feeling like they need to get educated out here and leave and go to different parts and contribute to the economies out there, because the reality is when you leave your immediate vicinity, when you go somewhere else, you not only help the tax bracket there, but you help generate more economy for those countries, not yours. So really, technology is our digital freedom. And if we can create scalable tech startups out here and build the next variation of what those Uber models will look like for Africa and Ghana, and what the next version of programming languages, the next version of operating systems will look like for Africa and Ghana, all the issues we've ever had related to financials, related to technology, related to scalability, and even validation can all be solved in one generation.
Okay, finally, what's the next big thing for you?
I think the next big thing is really continuing to do what I'm doing out here. I'm returning back to the state shortly, but my goal is to be here once every quarter. And for the next year, just really sit down with all the people that are actively on the ground, because there's people here that are making change. There's people that are fighting the change. I think it would be a huge disservice if people saw this and thought that nothing was happening. No, people are here. My goal is to, within the next year, sit down with all those people that are doing things in technology that really see eye to eye level with the vision I have for Ghana's youth, and work with them and see how I can not only bring financial support, because I plan on investing a lot here, but also sponsors and all of these people here that align with me on a common level to build these things here.
And that's it for business. The news continues after this break.